So we met in when I was in medical school. I was a third-year medical student, and I was actually in the cardiology rotation, and I met Adam. I actually had an instant crush on him.
I immediately noticed kind of like how stunning she looked, which is kind of unusual to say for someone in the hospital, because I don't really find people in the hospital stunning.
And my first words were, "Adam, you are so tall." And he just did not know how to react, and he was like,
"Wow, you're short." So that's kind of how our first words to each other. You know, she was the student on there and I was the intern, so we were just kind of like, we were colleagues at the time, like she was working there, and so we didn't date or anything at that immediately.
After that month finished, he asked me out to dinner. And then actually, after he dropped me off, he texted me right away, "Hey, do you want to go out again tomorrow? Let's go to the museum." So I did. I matched at Duke. We did long distance for a year, and then he moved to North Carolina a year later. And that's when I realized, okay, this is for the long haul.
I think it was, so I don't know if there was an exact point that I think, but I think it was just a general feeling of that, like, you know what, this person is really nice to be around, really fun to be around. And then our adventures progressed to like, oh, now we're gonna go to a trip to Europe, you know, to Italy or something like that. So our adventures became more and more involved, and then along the way you realize that, hey, you know what, it's even funner, it's much better to have this person along for these more elaborate adventures, and they make having that experience even better. You know, the proposal went that with her, I had kept her kind of like in the dark about it because she didn't know when it was going to happen.
And he's like, "Hey, why don't we go to dinner tonight?" Which is weird because usually I'm the one who says, like, "Let's go to dinner tonight."
And then I knew I had to somehow distract her and set things up here. So I got flowers earlier that day, and the flowers were hidden away.
And then at the parking lot, he said, "Oh, I forgot something."
So I said, "Listen, I have to go back in the apartment. I have to get my wallet." So I went back in here. I got the flowers all set up.
And we went home after that, didn't finish the food. And there were flowers on the counter and the table. And I was just lost in the flowers. And I think the next thing I know, this happened in the kitchen. He was on his knees. I forgot what he said, honestly, which is unromantic of me.
And I just told her some loving, kind words. I told her that how much I care about her and how much she's important to me, and how much, you know, I'm happy that she's in my life, how much she's improved my life, everything. And then that's when I asked her.
Adam is just so nice. Like, he always puts others before him. He's the type of person who drops everything to be there for you. He is just such a genuine guy, and I cannot believe that he's the one that I get to marry.